There are forces inside you that quietly shape your life. They influence your decisions. They weaken your discipline. They steal your attention. They make you delay the work you know you must do. And most of the time, they do not appear as enemies. They appear as comfort, as distraction, as emotion, as uncertainty. As one more excuse, the battle for self-mastery is not fought against the world. It is fought within the mind. Before you can master your life, you must understand what repeatedly pulls you away from your path. In Buddhist teaching, there are 5 great hindrances of the mind, 5 inner obstacles that prevent clarity, discipline and peace, sensual desire, ill will, sloth and dullness, restlessness and worry, doubt. These 5 hindrances do not only appear during meditation, they appear in your work, in your relationships, in your habits, in your ambitions, in the promises you make to yourself. They appear every day. And until you learn to recognize them, they will continue making decisions for you. Self-mastery begins when you can look at these forces clearly and say, I see you, I understand you, but you will not control me. This is the path, not the destruction of every difficult thought, not the rejection of every emotion. The path is awareness. The path is discipline. The path is learning to remain conscious when the mind tries to pull you away. The first hindrance. Sensual desireth, first hindrance is desire, the constant search for pleasure, the need for more stimulation, more comfort, more attention, more food, more entertainment, more approval, more excitement. The mind says, just one more video, just one more hour, just one more purchase, just one more distraction. And slowly, one more becomes an entire life. Desire itself is not always the problem. You need desire to move toward a goal. You need desire to improve. You need desire to create. The problem begins when desire controls you, when you cannot sit in silence without reaching for your phone, when you cannot experience boredom without escaping, when you cannot complete difficult work, because pleasure is always available nearby. The modern world is designed to capture your attention. Every screen is calling you, every notification is asking you to leave the present moment. Every advertisement is trying to convince you that something is missing. The message is always the same. You are not enough yet. You need something outside yourself. Buy this. Watch this. Consume this. Then you will feel complete. But the pleasure fades, the excitement disappears, and the mind immediately searches for the next thing. This is the trap. The more pleasure you constantly consume, the less satisfied you become. The mind loses its ability to appreciate simplicity. Silence feels uncomfortable. Stillness feels empty. Ordinary life no longer feels enough. Self-mastery requires you to interrupt this cycle. You must train yourself to experience desire without immediately obeying it. You feel the impulse to check your phone, wait. You feel the desire to abandon the task. Stay for another 5 minutes. You feel the urge to seek attention. Remain silent. You feel the craving for comfort. Choose the difficult action instead. This does not mean you must reject every pleasure. It means pleasure must have its proper place. You enjoy it consciously, but you do not become dependent on it. You own the pleasure does not own you. But every time you delay an impulse, you create space between desire and action. Inside that space, discipline grows. This is how freedom begins. Freedom is not being able to satisfy every desire. Freedom is no longer being controlled by every desire. Second hindrance. Ill will. The second hindrance is ill will. Anger, resentment, jealousy, hatred. The desire to punish. The desire to see another person fail. Ill will often begins with pain. Someone disrespected you. Someone betrayed you. Someone ignored your effort. Someone received what you believed should have been yours. The mind returns to the event again and again. It replays the conversation. It creates better responses. It imagines revenge. It asks, how could they do this to me? The event may have lasted 5 minutes, but you keep it alive for 5 years. This is how anger becomes a prison. You believe you are holding anger against another person, but the anger is living inside you. They may have moved on. They may not even remember what happened. But every time you replay it, your body experiences the pain again. Your heart tightens, your breathing changes, your peace disappears. Resentment does not protect you from the past. It allows the past to continue controlling you. Self-mastery does not mean allowing people to mistreat you. It does not mean pretending the pain was acceptable. It does not mean staying in harmful situations. You may need to speak. You may need to set a boundary. You may need to walk away. But there is a difference between clear action and emotional revenge. Clear action protects your dignity. Revenge destroys your peace. Ask yourself, is my response coming from wisdom or from wounded pride? Am I trying to solve the situation, or am I trying to make someone suffer? Will this action free me, or will it keep me connected to the pain? Anger carries energy. Use it consciously. Let it show you where a boundary was crossed. Let it show you what must change. Then transform it into action. Train harder. Speak honestly. Leave the unhealthy environment. Protect your peace. But do not carry poison while hoping someone else will become sick. Release does not mean weakness. Release means refusing to allow someone else's behavior to occupy your mind forever. The strongest person is not the one who can destroy an enemy. The strongest person is the one who does not allow an enemy to destroy their inner balance. Third hindrance. Sloth and dullness. Third hindrance is sloth and dullness. The heaviness of the body, the fog inside the mind, the voice that says, not today, you are too tired. You can begin tomorrow. One missed day does not matter. This hindrance is dangerous because it often feels reasonable. You tell yourself you need more rest. Sometimes you truly do. Rest is necessary. Recovery is necessary. But sloth is not the same as rest. Rest restores your strength. Sloth avoids responsibility. Rest has purpose. Sloth has excuses. Rest says, I will recover, then return. Sloth says, I hope the work disappears. You must learn to recognize the difference. Sometimes you are not tired. You are resistant. You are not lacking energy. You are lacking direction. The task feels uncomfortable. So the mind creates physical heaviness. Suddenly, everything feels difficult. You want to sleep. You want to eat. You want to scroll. You want to do anything except the one thing that matters. This is the moment when discipline must lead. Do not wait for motivation. Motivation is unreliable. It arrives when conditions feel good. Self-mastery begins when action is no longer dependent on mood. You train because it is time to train. You work because the work must be done. You keep your promise because your word should mean something. Not every day will feel powerful. Some days you will feel heavy. Begin anyway. Make the action smaller if necessary. Do 10 minutes. Write 1 page. Complete 1 task. Take 1 step. Movement creates energy. Action creates momentum. The mind often becomes motivated after you begin. Do not demand that the feeling arrive before the action. Let the action produce the feeling. A Shaolin practitioner does not repeat a movement only when inspiration appears. The movement is repeated when it is exciting, when it is boring, when progress is visible, when nothing seems to change. Mastery is built through repetition after excitement disappears. This is where most people stop. They enjoy beginnings, new goals, new plans, new routines. But the moment the process becomes ordinary, they lose interest. They confuse boredom with failure. But boredom is often the doorway to mastery. Anyone can practice when the experience is new. The serious practitioner continues when it becomes repetitive. Your future will not be built through occasional intensity. It will be built through consistent effort, even when nobody is watching, especially when nobody is watching. The fourth hindrance, restlessness and worry. The fourth hindrance is restlessness and worry. The mind that cannot remain still. The body is sitting, but the thoughts are running. The past appears, the future appears. The mistake you made last year appears. The problem that may happen next month appears. One thought becomes another, then another, then another. Soon your attention is scattered across 100 situations. This is overthinking. It feels productive because the mind is active. But activity is not always progress. You can think for 10 hours and still avoid the one action that would change the situation. Restlessness pulls you everywhere. Worry keeps you nowhere. The mind believes that if it thinks long enough, it can control the future. But worry does not create control. Preparation creates control. Action creates influence. Worry only creates exhaustion. Ask yourself, is there something I can do? If the answer is yes, take action. Make the call, create the plan. Begin the work. Have the conversation. If there is nothing you can do, then worrying will not improve the outcome. The mind must learn to release what is outside its control. This is difficult because uncertainty frightens us. We want guarantees. We want to know that our effort will succeed, that people will stay, that the decision is correct, that the future will be safe. But life offers no permanent guarantee. Self-mastery means learning to move without complete certainty. You do not need to know that everything will work out exactly as planned. You need to trust that you can respond to whatever happens. Bring your attention back to the present moment. The breath enters. The breath leaves. Your feet are on the ground. There is one task in front of you. Do that task. The mind will wander. Bring it back. It will wander again. Bring it back again. Do not become angry with yourself. The return is the training. Each time you return, the mind becomes slightly stronger. Meditation is not the absence of thoughts. It is the ability to notice when your attention has been taken and consciously reclaim it. That ability changes everything. Because when you can reclaim your attention, you can reclaim your life. The distracted mind is controlled by whatever appears. The disciplined mind chooses what deserves attention. The fifth hindrance, tube. The fifth hindrance is doubt. Doubt in yourself. Doubt in the path. Doubt in the practice. Doubt in whether change is possible. The mind asks, what if I fail? What if I am not strong enough? What if this is the wrong path? What if I waste my time? Doubt can disguise itself as intelligence. It tells you that you are simply being careful. But sometimes, doubt is fear hiding behind endless analysis. You keep waiting for perfect certainty. You want to know the final result before taking the first step. But life does not reveal the whole journey at once. You are shown the next step, then the next. Clarity often comes through movement. You cannot understand the path while standing at the entrance. You must walk. Doubt becomes powerful when you expect yourself to feel confident before acting. But confidence usually comes after action. You take the step while uncertain. You survive, you learn, you become stronger. Then self-trust grows. You do not overcome doubt by arguing with it forever. You overcome doubt by creating evidence. You keep one promise to yourself. You complete one difficult task. You face one fear. You stay disciplined for one more day. Each action tells your mind, I can trust myself. Doubt may not disappear immediately. Let it walk beside you. But do not let it choose the direction. Courage does not mean the absence of doubt. Courage means doubt is present. But you move anyway. There will always be unanswered questions. There will always be risk. There will always be a possibility of failure. If you wait for these things to disappear, you will wait forever. You do not need complete certainty. You need sufficient clarity to take the next honest step. Then take it. Correct yourself along the way. A mistake is not proof that you should never have tried. A mistake is information. Use it. Adjust. Continue. The person who is willing to learn becomes difficult to defeat. Recognizing the 5 hindrances. 5 hindrances work together. Desire distracts you. Ill will poisons you. Sloth delays you. Restlessness scatters you. Doubt stops you. One promises comfort. One demands revenge. One encourages postponement. One fills the mind with noise. One convinces you not to begin. Together, they weaken the person you could become. But once you recognize them, their power begins to decrease. Awareness is the first victory. You notice desire. You do not immediately obey it. You notice anger. You do not immediately react. You notice laziness. You begin anyway. You notice restlessness. You return to the breath. You notice doubt. You take the next step. This is self-mastery, not one final victory. A series of small victories, moment after moment, choice after choice. The mind says escape. You stay. The mind says react. You breathe. The mind says delay. You begin. The mind says you cannot. You try. Every conscious choice strengthens your inner authority. The path of training. Do not hate these hindrances. They are part of being human. Do not become ashamed when they appear. Study them. Every appearance is an opportunity to practice. Desire gives you the opportunity to practice restraint. Anger gives you the opportunity to practice compassion and clarity. Sloth gives you the opportunity to practice discipline. Restlessness gives you the opportunity to practice presence. Doubt gives you the opportunity to practice courage. The obstacle becomes the training. Without temptation, self-control cannot develop. Without anger, emotional mastery cannot develop. Without discomfort, discipline cannot develop. Without uncertainty, courage cannot develop. Do not ask life to remove every challenge. Ask yourself to become capable of meeting it. This is the difference between a weak life and a trained life. The weak mind waits for perfect conditions. The trained mind works with the conditions that exist. The weak mind asks the world to become easier. The trained mind becomes stronger. The weak mind searches for escape. The trained mind searches for understanding. Your training is happening now, not in some future temple, not when your schedule becomes perfect, not when every problem disappears. It is happening when your phone distracts you, when someone makes you angry, when the alarm rings, when fear appears, when you must choose between comfort and growth. These ordinary moments are your temple. Your reactions are your training. Your habits are your practice. Your life is revealing whether you are awake or simply obeying old patterns. The way forward begins simply. Do not try to defeat all 5 hindrances in one dramatic moment. Choose awareness. For one day, observe yourself. Notice when desire appears. Notice when anger appears. Notice when laziness appears. Notice when worry appears. Notice when doubt appears. Do not judge. Observe, then choose one conscious response. Delay one impulse. Release one resentment. Complete one task. Return to one breath. Take one uncertain step. Small victories repeated consistently change the structure of the mind. You become less reactive, less distracted, less controlled by comfort, less afraid of uncertainty, more stable, more focused, more free. This is not perfection. There may be days when desire wins, days when anger speaks, days when you delay, days when the mind becomes restless, days when doubt feels stronger than courage. Do not turn one failure into an identity return. The power is not in never falling. The power is in refusing to remain down. Return to the breath. Return to the practice. Return to responsibility in front of you. Again and again, until returning becomes your nature. Final message: you do not need to conquer the world. You need to stop being conquered by everything inside you. Stop being conquered by desire. Stop being conquered by anger. Stop being conquered by laziness. Stop being conquered by worry. Stop being conquered by doubt. See them, understand them, train through them. The greatest enemy is not always standing in front of you. Sometimes it is the voice inside you that says, choose comfort, hold the anger, delay the work, fear the future. Do not trust yourself. Listen to the voice, then choose differently. That choice is your power. That choice is your freedom. That choice is the beginning of self-mastery. Be still enough to recognize the hindrance. Be honest enough to name it. Be disciplined enough not to obey it. Be patient enough to repeat the practice. The path is not about becoming someone who never struggles. It is about becoming someone who is no longer ruled by the struggle. Rest at your attention, master your reactions. Master your habits, master the next choice. And slowly, the mind that once controlled you will become the mind that serves you. This is the way of discipline. This is the way of awareness. This is the way of inner freedom. This is the way of self-mastery.